everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. Now, just two questions for you. How many of you over here actually have prepaid meters in your businesses or homes? Just by a show of hands. Okay. And how many of you have actually ever been left in the dark unexpectedly? I think everybody's that's going to go over there. All right. I'm going to tell you just a quick, short story. Now, it's a cold winter night. We've got John, who's working vigorously to actually meet a deadline for work the next day. Now, as John is working, he's met with this silent, total silence and cold. Right? John takes a look outside and realizes that, oh, all these neighbors are actually powered up. He's the only one without power. So what does John do? John drives plus minus 5 kilometers to his nearest petrol station to actually buy prepaid electricity. He purchases about 500 rands worth of prepaid electricity, gets back home, recharges it, and within a minute, he's left with 200 rands. Okay, John is shocked. What's going on? I mean, I think you would be shocked too, right? So now, John is quite, I don't know, helpless, because he doesn't know who to contact, he doesn't know who to speak to, right? Well, while this is one scenario that John is facing, over 10 million South African residents and businesses go through these basic electricity-related uncertainties and headaches on a daily basis. Right. Now, most of these problems, we've streamlined them into three basic groups. Number one problem is complex communication channels between power utilities and the customers. They're basically the end users of electricity, you and I. Next one is lack of information between electricity balance. You don't know how much you've got left until it's actually out. There isn't a remote way of you actually checking it until it's actually completely depleted. Now, the next thing is lack of information about electricity vendors. You don't know who to buy electricity from. You're going to drive around until you actually find a garage and buy it from there. Well, if you could just find somebody close a block down from you, you could just buy electricity and it's going to save you a lot of petrol, which is quite expensive. Now, if you go onto City Power's website at the moment, you have to navigate through quite a few links before you actually end up on this. And no, it's not broken. This is actually how the site is. Right? This is how people log forms on the City Power website. Right? It's quite a tedious process for you to do that. Another thing is, we noticed that at the moment, City Power has a growth rate of about 300 followers per week on Twitter. This means people are interested. They want to find out. They want to get information about their power usage or information about electricity, but there isn't a good way of them getting it. So this just shows us they were on 15,000 followers when we first checked them, and in a couple of weeks they ended up with about 18,000. I think they're probably on 23,000 now. Right. Next thing is this is an average Twitter user's timeline. It's flooded with a lot of other tweets, so you can't really find that City Power tweet that you're looking for. Now, the solution. Yeah, the solution. What we bring to you is, number one, important notifications come to you. So when your prepaid balance is basically X amount, let's say 10 Rand, we send you a notification and tell you you need to recharge your prepaid electricity. Right. That keeps you constantly aware of what's going on. Number two, you can check your balance yourself. You go into the application and check your balance. Oh, this is how much I'm left with, let me recharge. You can report a fault very easily, seamlessly, as opposed to the website that you saw. Another one, you find the vendors closest to you, right? You get a Google Maps on the application where you can actually navigate to the different vendors, and you find the one closest to you and get to them. You get City Power feeds that come directly to you, and you get a load shedding schedule. How many of us want a load shedding schedule? Yeah. If you have that, you're going to be able to prepare better and plan your time as well. Right? Instead of thinking to yourself, oh, I should have charged my laptop. Right. Now, this solution is brought to you by a team of 3 founders. There's Selim Kantra. He's at Wits University. There's myself in the middle there. I'm at the University of Johannesburg. And there's Vishal Bala, and he's at the University of Johannesburg as well. Now, I want you to meet our application. You get this slide-up menu. For Android applications, yes, this little thing here. Wirelessly, wherever you are, you can use it. You get the slide-up menu with 5 options. Option number 1, you get e-vendors, which is basically that. You get to navigate to the different vendors nearest to you. So you find them, and with the touch of a button, it tells you, okay, you can go here, go there, go there. And you buy it. Very simple, saves you petrol. Second one, this is how you get to see your prepaid electricity. Right there in your face, so you know how much you got to recharge. You get a notification you left with so much, and you're actually able to recharge. The next one, you get your load shedding schedule according to the area that you're in, right? So each block has a different time where power goes out. So if you knew that, it would be much better for you. The next thing, you get the tweets from City Power right there. Then this is how you log your phone. From the menu, you go into this page, click of a button, send, and you actually log your phone to City Power. For benefits, locate the nearest prepaid electricity. I think you pretty much saw all these. Easy access to information as well, that's what we're bringing to you. For City Power, improved communication and improved service delivery. That's what we're offering. Primary revenue model, we're currently talking to City Power Johannesburg to actually acquire this application. And after that, probably give them a monthly service or maintenance and support. Alternative revenue model is just to have a membership for people that are using the application. And our vision is to come to a point where people are actually able to track their spending, so you know how much you're spending on electricity to actually save you costs. And you'll be able to engage with other municipalities, and that's our vision as it grows. And with that said, we at Tecco know how you guys feel about electricity because we go through the same thing. And that's why we're giving you the power to always stay powered up. So with that said, we'll now take questions from the judges. Thank you.
First question. The problem with the guy's getting in his car and driving off to top up. Is there any reason you didn't include a mobile wallet?
Thank you for that question. Actually, before we started, I was actually having a conversation with Flo over there, and it's something we actually thought of implementing in the future. So what we're giving you at the moment is just abstract, basic sort of features that we're thinking of, but I know it's something that can grow, it's something that can become bigger. We actually spoke to Marco as well, who advised us as well, because he's been in the same space, and he's given us quite a bit of advice on that. So there are quite a few things we're considering putting into this.
So just on that, one more statement and I'll finish. Just the business model is a bit, because you've got one customer, you've got one chance of securing one deal. You'll be disintermediated by that customer fairly quickly. In other words, if they rely on you and they see value, they'll produce it themselves. If you're taking money and you've got a mobile wallet, your business case is far more sound, and you've got a percentage of transaction fee on every single top up, and the guy's not leaving his house. So for me, the business model is a bit flaky, not flaky, but it's going to be, you got one deal, one customer. If they say no, you've got no business. If they say yes, you've got a business for 6 months, and then you're going to be in trouble. So that's my comments.
Thank you.
I think I'd echo that. I'd installed this app on my phone just to know what's going on. But again, I'm struggling to see the value proposition. You're aggregating data that's being provided somewhere else. You're making it prettier, so that's awesome. But then what? And so it sort of almost falls into this purvey of e-gov systems, right? And people are rolling them out, and some good examples in other places that is rolled out. So perhaps the place, rather than just talking just one thing, but looking at can you provide e-gov services to all these municipalities? But then you're almost just doing dev for them, or doing design and product development for them. But as it sits, I think it's going to be a struggle unless they decide they're going to buy it instead of build it.
How many prepaid customers are there in the country?
Over 10 million at the moment.
How many are on smartphones?
That's a number that we use.
Okay. So I think it's a great idea. I think you guys.
I think it's a great idea. I think, there we go. I think it's fantastic, but you have to have the mobile wallet side of things. I think an alternative business model actually would be, you've got to remember I'm kind of a marketing guy, so maybe this doesn't work, but try and appeal to people's higher conscious. You could actually have this as a free app that's supported by advertising, dare I say. And the reason this one could work, because they never work, apps supported by advertising line never work. But the reason this one could work is because it's such a chronic social issue in this
brand story around trying to lighten people's lives and something, you know, not as lame as that, then it could actually work. Because I can envisage everybody who is, there's all of those 10 million downloading this app, you need to make the feature phone compliant, and then you have a serious advertising business.
Just to add, thank you for that comment. Twitter, on Twitter, they currently have over 18,000 followers. So it kind of gives us an indication that there are quite a number of people that are actually using smartphones. So that's pretty much.
So I echo Justin's view that you could do this as advertising, but I think rather than the typical open it up and Google, I'd probably sell direct advertising space to probably the guys that are in this space, so people that provide services in this space. That might be a market. Yeah. As opposed to the typical app approach, which is kind of leave it open, leave it up to the platform to kind of ring through ads based on the user's personal preferences or whatever it is. I think that's too vague. Customer development. Only got one customer here. How many prepaid people do you work with?
About a handful of them, like 50 altogether collectively, all of us in those people. And we actually spoke to other people as well, who not only who don't have prepaid electricity meters, because I mean this app will be beneficial to everyone using City Power Johannesburg power network. So it would be valuable to all the other people that we will know, family members, small businesses in our area. When you do speak to them, they do want to know what's going on. Like we want to know if the power station trips. We want to know. We're not going to have electricity for 1 hour, 2 hours.
They won't pay. I'll put the app on, but I'm not going to pay. People are going to pay is the value. So there's a prepaid market out there. They're used to paying for electricity. I get a bill at the end of the month. My wife pays it up, and I do it. So your target market, I think you only in a bit more target market. Talk to them more. Understand what is the value you can get there. And is that a value you can charge? At the moment, one customer, personally, I think they'll buy you if you're really lucky, but they'll probably just build it themselves. And that's from personal experience of working in the city of Joburg.
Thank you.
Just one thing with looking at those Twitter numbers and so on, and I think you need to sort of understand what people are doing there as well. I followed City Water last week because I woke up in the morning. There was no water, right? So I followed them to complain and moan and maybe try to find out when's water coming back. But it was a very, quick affair. I followed them. I'm still following them, but I'm never going to look at that feed. I don't care until the next time water's out or until they can push me that information. So even though you're going to get that growth, that interaction is going to be, I want to talk to City Water, rather than I'm just following them because I need updates on, general water supplies. And I think that's going to be important. I know you're looking at logging those faults, but you're relying on City of Joburg, the City Water to come back and try to respond, and they don't.
Sorry, if you can play that role of actually getting them to engage, there might be something in that as well, but that's a much longer play. And you're going to have to lobby and stuff like that.
There's a great Twitter account called the Prepaid Economy, and this is for Africa. And so I think there's a huge gap here in prepaid generally, across continent. And so I think you need to start thinking about that kind of angle as well. Certainly, you can't charge people for this service individuals. I think it needs to be ad supported in some way. The more I think about it, the more numbers I could put in this bucket, the more it's probably viable.
Just one more thing to that.
So unfortunately, we have to wrap this up. But once again, we'll be here. There will be drinks. Conversation follow. Thank you, Tecco.